Welcome back, Team Resistance, to Program Apprentice Training. It's Jim Huffman, mentor since 2012. This week's lesson is on the SmartDashboard. We're going to review the even-odd challenge, modify the use of the 4 joystick buttons, and then we're going to improve the counting function, hopefully. We're going to review the network tables, SmartDashboard documentation. Finally, we're going to review the shuffleboard documentation and implementation. So let's get going. So here's the code we left the last time. We were counting the joystick buttons here. All right, we had some functions down here. One was to count buttons, and that was just to count the digital inputs. And then we modified it to count buttons, right? Well, that would be fine. That kind of works, but you know what? If you go back to this code, you really don't know what you're counting unless you look at the function. You know that that's joystick Xbox buttons. Let's see if we can't make that a little more generic and just count booleans, right? So here I've copied down the code, right? We've got a public, right, Boolean counter, right, and we're passing, or it's expecting us to pass 4 Booleans, in Boolean 1, 2, 3, 4, right, and I'm using that as my incrementer, right. If Boolean 1 is true, increment 2, 3, 4, return the Boolean count, right. What do we need to change in code? Well, really the only thing we need to do is take this little piece of code that I've already written, because I'm cheating, come up here, all right, and uncomment it. Comment that out. And now you can see, get it all lined up nice and pretty. You can see what you're actually counting, right from the main code. So I'm saying I want the count of these joystick buttons, right? I don't have to run down to the code or to another piece of code to figure out what I'm counting. Good, bad, I like it better this way. I know what I'm handling. It doesn't change the code any. The code would still be returning for 4 buttons. We've got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 default. We'll take a little look at that, a little more look at it later on. So let's proceed to the network tables. What do you say? Let's go. All right, here we are at my favorite website. I am looking at network tables, and what is a network table? What are they used for? Well, it's a structure that passes data around any of the computers that are on the robot's network. The Robo-Rio, the driver station, your development computer, a vision computer, right? They all have to share a certain amount of information between each other, and this is the way that it's done. However, there can be multiple clients on this network structure, but there can only be one server for the network table. If the Robo-Rio is present, the Robo-Rio is the server. Right? If the Robo-Rio isn't present, like in the case of our simulator, well then the simulator is launching a server, right? And it handles it. Or if neither, if we're playing with a vision computer, maybe you need to launch it, right? There's a way to do that. So you get this data, you've got a server, it collects these things called name value pairs. You're a client, you've got this value you want to share, you send it to the server picks it up and rebroadcasts the table to everybody else. So another client will send it a pair. Your table will get a copy of that named pair to be updated. So that's the way it works. It's similar to a file explorer, right? You've got a disk drive. Under that, you've got a folder. Under that, you've got a file. The file being the value, right? Or contains the value. Or you've got the disk drive, a folder, another folder. You finally get down to the file or the value. So that's the way it's laid out. That's the organization of it. There are 3 default tables, right? There's the SmartDashboard. That's the one we're discussing. That's the one we're going to use to pass data around the network. There's another one called Live Window. Live Window is used for test purposes, hardware test purposes. We're not getting into it right now, but be aware that it's there. And FMS Info, Field Management System. Are you the red team or the blue team? Well, you can get that information out of the FMS Info table. So, out of the 3 of them, we're only going to be using the Smart Dashboard. So why don't we go up and take a look at the Smart Dashboard, all right? Again, Smart Dashboard. There's a Smart Dashboard. These are widgets. You can display the data in multiple different ways, multitude of different ways. Here's the driver station dashboard. You can launch it from the driver station with that set up. Team number configuration, loading files, where to save the setup, more widgets. All right. How do we add information to the dashboard though? Well, right here, Smart Dashboard. Smart Dashboard put. You can put booleans, you can put numbers. I think you can also do strings. Here's the name that the Smart Dashboard is using, right? Whatever name you choose, that's the name that the Smart Dashboard is going to display or use to pass the data around. There's the value, right? This particular one is getting it from something called Bridge Tripper at Bridge, right? It's probably a Boolean. Well, it is a Boolean. So it's going to be true, false. If you're looking at it from another computer, you'd be getting that data from something called bridge limit, right? So that's how we're going to end up putting data onto the Smart Dashboard and create stale data. If you change the name, if you're not using a particular function in an application, the data isn't going to update. However, you've already saved the name value pair, right? So you're going to get a name on the dashboard. It's not going to have any data in it. You've got to be aware of that. Occasionally you need to reset it maybe, or you need to delete old points or named pairs that you're no longer using. You're going to need to clean it up is basically what I'm saying. So be aware of that. Nothing big, but you'll see it. A lot of dead points on a screen. Setting up the dashboard, properties, field. You can play all kinds of colors with these widgets. All kinds of neat things you can do with them. Smart Dashboard, test mode, and live window. Test mode. We were having problems with that test mode a while back. It seems that live window is part of the test mode. The test initialize and the test periodic. It's a default value, and yes, that's what caused my problems. FRC is looking into it. Is it something they can correct? Is it just they're going to put a note on it? Doesn't matter. We'll see live window a little bit later on. Again, we use SmartDashboard though. So with that said, we can't use SmartDashboard in Simulator. I haven't been able to get it to work. So we're going to skip over the SmartDashboard stuff. Actually, we've gotten used to using the shuffleboard. It's a newer function, newer method, has a lot more to it. So let's go take a look at that. Let me just go right to touring. You can see it even says it's the newer features. It uses JavaFX. There's a whole bunch of different things, multiple sheets where you can save data and layouts. You can record and playback, graphics, a bunch more widgets. You see we've got a source area now, right? And then you've got multiple panes. You've got a record and playback function. So yeah, the shuffleboard is definitely the way we're probably going to go, the way you'll see most of our testing functions done. So with that said, let's go see how we launch it. Hold on a second, let me find it. Yeah, there it is. Let's look at my desktop, right? Let's zoom in here. Here's how we were launching VS Code 2020. Well, here's the SmartDashboard 2020. Right below that is the 2020 shuffleboard. Right? So that's what we're going to click on to launch shuffleboard. All right, let's go ahead and launch it. All right, so here's the SmartDashboard. Interesting stuff, huh? Notice here at the top there's two tabs. They don't look like that, but they are. This is the SmartDashboard tab. This is one of the defaults. Here's the Live Windows tab. Again, one of the defaults, nothing in it though. Over here on the side, if you look real carefully, I don't even know if you guys can see it, but there's a little arrow, double arrow. We click on that, it opens up the sidebar here. We've got a camera server, network tables. Notice under network tables, there isn't any. Well, guess what? We haven't started the server, right? We don't have a Robo-Rio running. We don't have the simulator running. So let's go ahead and start the simulator. GUI, let's go. There it is. Let's take a look now at our SmartDashboard. Oh look, we now have some info. We have an FMS info dashboard table, right? We have a live Windows table. Hey look, it's got values in it. So again, the live window is reading hardware data. We created digital inputs. So it's live window just automatically, again a default stuff, it automatically grabs any hardware info that you've defined, right? Well, notice what is missing. The SmartDashboard default. We haven't defined any SmartDashboard points, right? So let's go back and define some. Let's go ahead and close this. I'm going to leave this. We don't have to open and close. This is a server. It's running, or it's not a server. It's a program that's looking for the server all the time. It's a client. It's receiving data from the server. So when we restart the server, when we restart the simulator, it'll automatically connect and pull data down. So we're going to just go ahead and leave that guy open. All right, here we are back at the code. I know you're going to find this shocking, but I cheated. I've already typed all this SmartDashboard in. Update SmartDashboard function, and I've put all our puts, put Boolean in to pick up the red buttons, green button, yellow buttons, LEDs. I've also added this one. Notice I'm using the red LED. Well, we said the red LED indicates odd, so I called it odd LED. The green indicates even, so I've called it even LED. We can now give different names to the same object, right? Using the SmartDashboard. So the one other thing I've got to do, right? I've got to call this somewhere. Well, let's go up here at the top into our program, right? Even update LED, and I don't know, let's just put it here at the bottom. We've turned on the LEDs, turned them off, whatever we've done to them, and now we're going to update the SDB. There you go. All right, so let's try launching that. All right, turn the simulator back on. GUI, go for it. All right, here's my simulator. Oh yeah, one of the things I wanted to mention while we were back at code, I forgot, was that I've moved everything out of test because we know there's an issue with test and live dashboard. So I've now placed the starting point in teleop periodic. So let's go ahead and, well, let's take a quick look at the dashboard again, right? Again, we've got live window back, we've got the FMS back, but again, still no dashboard because we haven't run it. Well, let's run teleop periodic, right? We're using the DIs. We can see if we go back here, we now have a SmartDashboard. Even, odd, green, green button, green LED. Notice they're in alphabetical order. Easier to find, I guess. Let's see, green button. Let's go back here. Green button is input 2. Input 2 would make it low. Come back here. It's now false. All right. How about the purple button? Let's make that one low. All right. All right. And now it's false. All right. Well, where's the purple button? Purple button's false too. All right. So we now have control of these things. Well, to get them onto a SmartDashboard, just drag and drop them. There's the green button. Where's the red button? Red button's alphabetical and it's there. All right, let's stick him up there. Well, one of the other things you could have done was drag the even and odd over, right? Right? Or, and you can drag them over as a pair because we've set them up in a subfolder, right? Results. You can, there's all kinds of things you can do from here on out. You can make, add layouts. You got a grid layout, you can add a list layout. What am I talking about? Add a grid layout. Drag it over here. Let's see, do this. Now I can drop them in and they pop up as colored values rather than true false statements. there's a ton, and I mean a ton of stuff. Maybe you want to put all the LEDs on their own tab. All right, so you change the name of the tab to LEDs, right? Well, now I can pull out the board, come down here and grab all the LEDs, right? The green one, the purple one, the red one, the yellow one. You can move them around. You can rename them, right? This one's the green. Right? This one's the red. So there's a ton of stuff you can do with this. You can change all kinds of widgets you can drag and drop into here. Too many to go into right at the moment, and we'll learn them as we go along, as we come up with different examples and reasons for using them. So let's go ahead and close all this and move on. So, challenge. Let's modify the sequence. Just go ahead and play with the shuffleboard, drag and drop, create whatever your names are, your name pair, what do they call them? Name value pairs are, and drop them onto the shuffleboard and see what else you can do with it. Add the button count to the shuffleboard. You can now pull that out as a value. Might be a little tricky, but you can't put it in if you build an update SDB SmartDashboard. You're not going to be able to put it in there because button count isn't available outside of update LED count, right? We've talked about that. So you're not going to be able to grab it from another function and use it. You're going to have to put the SmartDashboard put statement someplace else, all right? So work on that. Again, be constructive, patient, flexible. Next time is playtime. We're just going to play with all the stuff we've learned. We're going to do a modulo, a bitwise operation, arrays, and a couple other things that we haven't touched on, but we can play with. So we'll see you next time. Enjoy. Teamwork. Have fun and be safe.